Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday, this October 24th, 2022. My name is Kim Lantis, and I'm here with co-host America Guerrero. Hi, Ame.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so it is Monday, and that is our recap show. What do? We talk about last week's shows and introduce this week's shows here on Dojo Live. So on Dojo Live last week, we had two shows. First up was Avery Pennarun, who's the co-founder and CEO at Tailscale. Following him was Dawn Delatte and Emily Bahna, who are managing directors with thoughtbot. So let's first talk about Avery's show. This was Better Living Through Small Networks, all about how did the open internet grow to be such a dangerous place? And why don't security and privacy ever seem to get any better? Is there a better way? What did you think of that show, America?
Well, I'm not from the 90s. Well, I am from the 90s, but like almost the end.
Diapers, 90s.
Exactly. I learned that the boom of internet started in the 90s. And well, back then, we didn't picture what we have today. And we didn't imagine how this new space, how complex and insecure this space could be. Well, the misinformation, the cybersecurity threats, all of this we didn't picture. So Avery told us that there is like a solution, which is to make things smaller. But how we can do this? Tailscale is doing this. They are starting learning from the computers instead of people, because they are the reflections of human network. We have this philosophy talk with him that I really like. So yes, they are helping with that.
It was interesting. I'm sorry, there's movement and action going on behind me. It's Monday. I'm back at the office, and I should have gone to a conference room. That's okay. So yeah, I think what was interesting with his, it was sort of this antithesis of a previous show, which was more focused on zero trust, and Avery's take is all about more trust, right? But what's happening is just making those networks smaller and smaller, where you actually have a bit more control of who's accessing this and who isn't, and basically, the ability to kick out bad players because you're no longer anonymous, right? And that's part of, I think, what was the shock of just how the internet has become. I think he even used the analogy of one day he built a sandcastle in like Minecraft or something. And like the next day somebody had knocked over his sandcastle. Like, what? Like you're just being a bully because you can be a bully? Like, how dumb is this? Right? And so it's easy, these keyboard warriors, to become, anonymous amongst the big numbers. But if we make it smaller again and more intimate again, increasing that trust, that's sort of the postulation there. And you just create an easy way to create smaller networks. I know that he was talking all about the usability, how it's fast. I think he mentioned around 60 seconds or so. Mm-hmm. And we were laughing because one of the things is a lot of times it's so easy that it feels too easy, so that it might feel like you're not quite doing it right. And that's one of those things about Tailscale that I think is quite interesting.
And so that there is good people yet.
Yes, there's more good than bad. Yeah. And so if you're looking for ways to connect, interconnect your devices, your family's devices, it's really cool because it's something that's very scalable from like a small, intimate, personal usage all the way up to the enterprise level. So yeah, apparently there really is a better way, right? And the second show of the week was with Dawn Delatte and Emily Bahna. They're both managing directors again with thoughtbot, and their topic of conversation was product strategy at every stage. And why is leveraging product strategy expertise more critical now than ever? And how can it be done from idea to MVP and beyond? What about that show that struck you as interesting?
I didn't know that companies that they provide this kind of designing and product management services, they have a product strategy concept with a different meaning. So she shared what it means for her, and also how important is the product management. Sorry.
It's Monday. We're all tongue-tied.
Yes. How important this title is when you're developing a project. So it's something that I didn't know. It's something that I did with my research. It's something that I talked with my husband because he's in the same world as them. So it was a really interesting show.
Yeah, I think what they're able to do is they have that product management element at every stage, right, of product development. And it's interesting because I think it just starts as a wider funnel and it gets more and more narrow as they move on. but their expertise is, starting even just with ideation and entrepreneurs, and then taking that the full way through. And the way that thoughtbot has that built out with different experts for different stages, I think is quite interesting. But, their push would be that every company pays more attention to product management, right? You need more and more product managers. And I think it goes back to this idea. We mentioned, I think, a Mexican quote we have, right? That's the lo barato sale caro, right? The cheap ends up being expensive. And this idea of just doing it right from the start, right? And it's actually going to save a lot of time, money, headache, down in the future when it comes to development. And then I think also the ability to learn how to pivot, right? Change direction when that's necessary. And, going back to why this is more critical now than ever has a lot to do with just how global on the pandemic and working from home and just how all of those influences. And so, yeah, it's a really, really, really interesting show. Check that one out. And of course, check out all 3 of our shows this week. It's a full week. Who do we got coming up?
We have tomorrow Peter Priscio. I think it's Italian, Priscio. I don't know. CEO at Snap Attack, and the topic is going to be about the IOC is dead. Long live the TTP. That is going to happen tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, and then on Wednesday we're going to have another show, which is Wi-Fi sensing, the most ubiquitous. I thought, Kim, that this sounds like a Harry Potter spell name. Ubiquitous. Yeah, tech you might not have heard of. This topic, we're going to have it with Spencer Maid, CEO at Origin Wireless. And then our last show of the week is going to happen on Thursday, the Human Capital Operating System. And this show is going to be with Sean Hinton, founder and CEO at Skyhive Technologies.
That's right. It's a full week here at Dojo Live. Don't miss it. I already had to Google what IOC and TTP are, and it's indicators of compromise versus tactics, techniques, and procedures. So we'll check that one out. But every day this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 10 o'clock Pacific, right here in Dojo Live. More shows for more experts, and I hope to see you there. Until then, stay safe. Bye for now, everyone.